This is the video for printmaking. The kind of printmaking we're going to be doing is called a lino cut. And a lino cut is basically made from a piece of what's called linoleum. And it's basically just a material, you can see it in kitchens sometimes, but it's a material that is really easy to carve away at and to make your print. So basically you're going to make a stamp. So you're going to make something that looks like this, whatever your design is, and once you stamp it onto a piece of paper, then you'll have a print. Obviously, these are two different prints, but you get the idea. The advantage of this is that you can do it many, many times. So a lot of people have used printmaking instead of drawing for social causes, for something they believe in, like Black Lives Matter, or something that they want to make a lot of copies before there were copy machines and things like that. This was the way people did it. And it's really a fun, creative process. So this is going to introduce you to the studio itself. If you check out the printmaking studio, it looks like this. In the printmaking studio, there are 5 safety boards, 5 cutters, or 5 handles, and you also have the box with the actual cutting tools. Okay, so we're going to go over all of that, and you're going to fill out your sheet, and once you show me your sheet, I'll give you the studio to actually kind of play around with a little bit and make sure you understand before you start actually doing the prints. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is the safety block. If you start cutting at all, you should always have your safety block. This safety block should be with the board facing away from you. And anytime that you're cutting, you're always going to cut away from yourself and away from your hand. You're never going to want to cut into your hand like this. That could really hurt your hand, because when you're carving, you're actually putting a bit of force onto this tool. So never have it cut towards your hand. You can hold the linoleum block here, hold it down and carve away. And if you need to adjust your angle, adjust the block itself. Okay? You don't adjust, you don't like have your hand way over here cutting towards your hand. You move the block instead of moving yourself. All right? So that's the first thing. So you've got a block, you understand what to do with the block. Okay? The second thing is the carving tool. So we've basically in the carving tool got a handle and we've got this blade. Okay, well, it's not really a blade, it's just like a cutting tool. It doesn't hurt you if you cut it like this, but if you jab it into yourself, it definitely can hurt you. All right, so how this works is this. Sorry, I've got something popping on my screen. Okay, so this is your handle. So your handle is made up of a couple of different parts. I'm going to take it apart so you can see all the pieces. Okay. So there's 2, here's the handle, here's the tip of the handle, and then there's 2 pieces that fit inside. So if you see these 2 pieces, I'm going to try to get down here close. If you see these 2 pieces, there's one that has a raised surface and there's one that kind of goes over it. So if you're putting this in, and then there's a little ball on top, all right? So if you are putting in a new blade, you need to put the C part and the ball part together. Then you're going to turn it around and put it inside that part. Okay, let's do that again. So you've got this little ball part and you've got the C part. You put it together. All right, then you turn this little piece down and you put that in. So you've got, and sometimes you kind of have to jiggle it a little bit, and sometimes it does get stuck. I'm glad that happened so that I could show you. So sometimes it does get stuck, so you just have to kind of bang it out to get it out. All right. Now, so once that is in, okay, so it's in there, but it's loose. That's good. So the ball's at the top here, and it's loose. So you are going to then screw it loosely back onto the handle. But baby, just like you're only going to turn it once or twice. So once you have it in there like once or twice, you can jiggle it around. It's loose, but the little pieces aren't coming out. Then that is when you're going to choose what type of actual blade you need. Okay? So if you see in this thing that I've given you. They are labeled. They have numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So the number 1s are the smallest blades. So if you're going to need to make a small cut, all right, you're going to want to try to use a number 1. And you can see the number when you're putting them away. You have to look really closely. But if you can see, there's like a little number 1 right there. Or let's see if we can see the number 2. There's a little number 2 right there. Okay, so that they always have to go back in the right spot when you're done. Okay, but let's say you've got your handle, you're putting in your blade. You see that there's a part that is sort of shaped like a V that's a little bit sharper, and then there's a part that's round like a spoon. You're going to put the spoon part in between. You have to kind of, let me see if I can get close enough. You're going to put the spoon part in between where that little ball is and where that little C-shaped little piece was. And when you put it in between there, then you're going to tighten it. All right, by just righty-tighty, do it right. This should be completely on there, and it shouldn't be loose at all. So once you have your cutter ready, all right, it's completely on there, and it's kind of tricky. So it's going to take you a couple of times when you first start to do this to be able to just put the blade in and put the right blade in that you need. Okay, so you've got your cutting board and you have your blade. Okay, so now I will give you a piece of practice linoleum. Okay, just a small piece. It'll probably look something like this. All right, once you get your piece of linoleum, all right, you can practice making a like just experimenting with how these tools work. I would suggest first drawing out what you want your design to be. So let's say you want to, I don't know, let's say you want to make a heart, okay? You can make a heart. You can draw it out with pencil, but sometimes I just think Sharpie is a little bit better, okay? All right, so you can draw that out. Now, whatever you carve away in your block is going to be the color of the paper, so probably white, and whatever you leave is probably going to be the color of the ink, so maybe black. Okay, but let's say we have this heart, and I'm thinking that I want this to be, let's see, let me get you so I can see. I want this heart to be all white, okay? Or I just want to see the outline. For this, you just want to experiment. You'll see what happens once you get going, okay? So you have your block. I'm holding it a little strange just so you can see it, but you're just going to hold it flat on the table. You're going to take your carver, and you are going to carve away from your hand, and you are going to carve out the parts that you want to carve out. So in this case, it's the black. So I am now carving everything that's black off. All right, I'm going to carve. The deeper you go, the more it will show a sense of contrast when you print it, okay? But I actually like this when you print it, it shows every single little curve, okay? So don't be afraid to go ahead and leave a little bit of texture. All right, so you're going to carve your image, and that will be your practice, create new discoveries block, okay? So for this video, you fill out the sheet to make sure you know what to do. Then I'll give you the materials, and you can experiment on a small little piece. And then if you really enjoy that, you can go to the next step, which will be actually making a bigger print.